Are you interested in art journaling but don't want to break the bank? In this video, I'm going to show you how to create beautiful art journal pages using affordable materials. With my tips and tricks, you'll be able to express your creativity without worrying too much about the cost. For those of you who don't know, my name is Job and I'm the creator behind Job's Journal. On my channel, I like to explore the world of art journaling and share tips, tricks, and tutorials to help you unleash your creativity and make stunning pages. You can find me on YouTube, Instagram, Patreon, where I provide exclusive content and rewards for my eggy supporters. But let's get started. Today, I'm excited to talk about low-cost art journaling. I know that art journaling can be kind of expensive sometimes, but that shouldn't stop you from expressing yourself. In this video, we'll talk about three main sections. The first being the dollar store and Daiso shopping, where we can uncover some amazing hidden gems for art journaling. Next, we'll dive into thrift supplies, where we can talk about some thrifting and uncover some surprising and unique items that you can use in your art journal. And number three, we'll be discussing high quality supplies that you can purchase with coupons so you can get the best bang for your buck and create amazing pages with some amazing quality supplies. And let's get started. Dollar stores and Daiso are a great option for art journaling supplies on a budget. These stores can be a treasure trove for finding unique and fun items that you can use to create stunning pages. You'll be amazed at the variety of supplies you can find at these stores, from washi tapes to stickers to ephemera and paper crafting goods. Dollar stores are becoming increasingly popular for paper craft supplies. Many of these stores carry a wide range of crafting supplies, including pattern paper, cardstock, and various adhesives. You can also find some great tools like scissors, hole punches, and cutting mats. With a little bit of creativity, you can use these supplies to create beautiful art journal pages. In addition to dollar stores, Daiso is another excellent option for budget-friendly art journaling. Daiso is a Japanese chain store that follows the same concept as a dollar store. They offer a wide range of goods at an affordable price, including art supplies. At Daiso, you can find unique items like Japanese paper or origami and washi tape. You can also find stationery supplies like pens, pencils, and markers that work great for your art journal too. Shopping at dollar stores or Daiso can be a fun and exciting experience because you'll never know what you'll find, and the thrill of the hunt can be a great way to get your creative juices flowing. Plus, you'll be able to create beautiful pages without breaking the bank. So next time you're in the market for art journaling supplies, consider checking out your local dollar store or Daiso. In addition to dollar stores and Daiso, thrifting is another great option for finding affordable art journaling supplies. Thrift stores can be a goldmine for vintage ephemera, unique papers, and old magazines that you can use in your art journal. These items often have a lot of character and can add a lot of interest on your page. Not only do thrift stores offer a unique selection of items, but it's also a fun way to find vintage ephemera at a good cost. It's also fun to find unique items like vintage botanical books or magazines that you wouldn't find at a conventional stationery store. Thrifting can be an adventure in itself, as you never know what you might find. Each store has its own personality and charm, which can add to the excitement and thrill of the hunt. One of the best things about thrifting is that it's often very affordable. You can find items for just a few cents or dollars, which is great for those on a budget. Many thrift stores also offer regular deals and discounts, so be sure to check out what's available in your local area. For example, my local Value Village has a 40% off day quite regularly, which is a great way to get a bunch of journaling supplies on a budget. When you are thrifting for art journaling supplies, keep an open mind and let your creativity run wild. You might come across an old map or a vintage postcard that sparks an idea for a new page. Or you might even find a unique piece of fabric or ribbon that you can incorporate into your journal, and the possibilities are honestly endless. One tip for thrifting is to keep an eye out for items that can be repurposed. For example, old book pages, sheet music, and maps can all be great collage material. Vintage postcards and letters can be incorporated into your page as well. And if you're feeling adventurous, you can even cut up some old fabric or clothing that you find at the thrift store to create some texture and interest in your page. So next time you're looking for art journaling supplies, consider taking a trip to your local thrift store. Not only is it a great way to save money, but it's also a fun and exciting way to find unique and interesting items for your journal. Who knows what treasures you might find? Happy thrifting! The last section we're going to discuss today is investing in good quality staple supplies like watercolors, markers, and colored pencils. I know this might seem a little odd to be paying a little bit more for supplies, but hear me out. These supplies might cost a little bit more upfront, but the long-term benefits are worth it. The quality of the colors and the pigments in these art supplies are often much better and provide a richer and more vibrant look on your page. However, it's understandable that these high-quality materials can be expensive, but there are many ways to get them at a lower cost. One of the best ways is to use coupons and store deals at art supply shops and craft stores. For example, many art supply stores offer a 40% off coupon to customers. I highly recommend using the 40% off coupon at Michael's to help start growing your art supply collection. It's a great way to get high-quality supplies at a discounted price. Before we move on, let's have a quick unfiltered chat about the cost of art supplies. Okay, so I wanted to talk about something that I use a lot in my journaling, and it is watercolors. And honestly, this is a little bit more of a nuanced discussion. Actually, this goes with art supplies in general because art supplies can be quite expensive, and if you are, watching different artists and creators online, you might realize that the items that they're using are a lot more expensive than, an entry level palette or supply costs. So this is a bit more of a your best type of yourself best situation. So let's just get into it. Actually. Okay, so let's talk about art supplies, which I think is the hardest part when we're discussing low-cost journaling and, cutting costs or saving some money on journaling supplies, because art supplies can be very cheap, but also be very expensive, and a large array of, different types of art supplies exist in many journaling videos, art videos, mixed media journaling videos, and it can get quite pricey. So I want to talk about my personal experience and my advice, but obviously take this with a grain of salt because you know yourself best and you know your financial situation best. But I think purchasing the middle ground of art supplies is a great way to invest in some art supplies, but also not break the bank. So we have the super entry level watercolor palettes, we have the student watercolor palettes, and then we have like the artist grade watercolor palettes. And I think instead of buying the cheaper $5 to $10 watercolor palettes that you can buy at the dollar store or at Michael's in the little pans that are very iconic. Like I still remember buying my first one from Michael's and using that in a lot of my videos. I actually really liked it at the time, but I think as I explored my creativity with watercolors, I realized that those watercolors were a little bit harder for me to use in a way that I wanted to, and I was having a harder time emulate the same effect that I've seen other artists do. And obviously, you can use any type of art supply. It really is the person that's using it. So maybe that's just an error on my part because I lack skills. But I realized that, the chalkier watercolors that I had that were a little bit cheaper in the $5 to $10 range weren't, flowing on the watercolor paper and on my page as much as I wanted to. And it just didn't have that nice, granulated look that a lot of, nicer watercolors have. And so I bought another watercolor palette. This was my first watercolor palette, and you can get a really good deal on some of these student grade watercolor palettes because there are, coupon codes and whatnot. But for me, I bought this Winsor & Newton Cotman student watercolor palette from Michael's actually, and I used a 40% coupon. So this was pretty pricey. I think it was like 65 USD for 14 paints. And these are half pans, so this is a half pan, this is a full pan size. There's 14 half pans here. There's no paint in here. And that was about $65, but I used a 40% off coupon, and yeah, it was a lot more affordable. I think it was in the $30 to $40 range. Obviously, I'm in Canada, so the prices are going to be higher. But I've had this for 6+ years. I still use it up to this day. It looks very clean right now, but I recently cleaned it, but it's still holding up. I've topped this up with paints, I think 2 times. But yeah, I absolutely love this palette, and the only reason why I kind of stopped using it is because I bought more student grade watercolor paints and put them in a larger like palette, which, you know, I think I paid about $30 or $40 for that other palette, so they're comparable in price. And I only recently, after like 7 years, bought, you know, a few artist grade watercolors. So it is a journey, but I think, you know, skipping that middle ground might be the best for some of you who know that they want to really get into this hobby and, you know, want to take classes and look at free resources online. But again, if you're really just starting out and you really have no idea if you're gonna like it, I would just go with that cheaper palette. But obviously, take that advice with a grain of salt. I, you know, would say that I wasted, you know, $5 or $10 because I bought that first palette. But if you know yourself best and you want to try the cheaper palette first, the cheapest option, I would do that first and then move on. The same goes with other art supplies like markers. I think markers are very expensive and can add up, so I'm gonna pull out my other art supplies here. So I have these markers here. These are the Tombow brush pens, and they're pretty pricey. So again, you can get these for lower cost by using a coupon code at, you know, the different art stores, but you can also find dupes of them online. I know on Amazon there's a dupe, and there's a lot of, you know, video tutorials or video reviews out there reviewing other low cost markers. Like, you don't need Tombows, you don't need Copics, you don't need Poscas. You can find other alternatives. I just so happen to own those brands because I found them very reliable, and I was willing to, you know, pay a little bit more for the quality. But again, there's also other dupes that are of the same quality. You just need to do research. But yeah, I think it's a pretty nuanced discussion because you really can pay a lot for art supplies in your journal. But at the end of the day, it's about how you use them and not the actual type of, you know, supplies that you have. Because, you know, you can have a pencil, crayon, or a colored pencil that's worth $5. But you can also have one that's like $2 or $1 or even like 30 cents, and, you know, get a similar look at, you know, based on, you know, how you're using it. Because I mean, I'm not a super skilled artist with, you know, pencil, crayons, and watercolors, but you can get a pretty similar look for the most part in most use cases. Again, it's not about the supplies, it's about the person, you know, handling the supplies. But yeah, I hope that helps. Again, always look out for a coupon code and save some money. Thank you, Past Job. Let's head back to scripted voiceover Job. Another option is just to wait for holiday sales, which are a great time to snag some lovely paints or some high quality glue at a discounted rate. You can also keep an eye out for art supply store loyalty programs, which offer discounts and rewards to frequent customers. These programs are a great way to save money on high quality supplies in the long run. In conclusion, investing in good quality art supplies is a great way for those looking to create beautiful and long lasting art journal pages. Although it may seem expensive at first, there are many ways to get these supplies at a lower price, such as coupons, waiting for sales, and joining loyalty programs. Remember, the most important thing is to have fun and let your creativity run wild. To summarize, we covered 3 main sections of low-cost art journaling. We had the dollar store and Daiso shopping, we had thrifting supplies, and lastly, investing in good quality staple supplies. By taking advantage of these tips and tricks, you can create stunning pages without breaking the bank. Remember, the most important thing is just to have fun and let your creativity run wild. So grab your journal and get started. I can't wait to see what you come up with. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment below answering the question, what's your favorite low-cost art journaling tip? And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments as well. Don't forget to follow me on all social media, including YouTube, Instagram, and Patreon, where I provide exclusive content and rewards for my Aggie supporters. Thank you for watching, friends, and happy journaling! Bye-bye!